Hey, no doubt that Belle Delphine is hot and she is an expert at turning you on. I know because I admit she turns me on too. However, while her net worth of an estimated over $500,000, which is not bad from a material perspective from a 21-year-old girl from South Africa, continues to rise, your net worth continues to decrease in your energy and your money if you're spending it all on Miss Belle Delphine. So let me show you how to beat her trap and never ejaculate to her again. All right, I'm gonna show you how to beat the Belle Delphine trap, but before I do, I invite you to hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell that you get notified. I got at least 2 new videos for you coming every single week to help you become a sexual alchemist and master yourself both in and outside the bedroom. Now, Belle Delphine, she's definitely an obstacle to that. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way. Yeah, I've watched her and I'm totally down with the Ahiago face. It's wild. And she's an expert at using it. She really plays into that deep, dark, masculine energy that may be within you. That dominance, that power. She's half playing into a pedophile type of scenario. I mean, she's a 21-year-old girl. When you look at her, she looks super young and she's playing into it. She's just giving this whole kind of like vibe, like you can do whatever you want to me. You could control me. You could be with me. She's playing her sexual energy beautifully. The challenge is that she's not doing it to have sex with you. She wants your money. And therefore, you can see beyond that. So on a total sexual level, you buy into her fantasy, and that's what she's selling you. She's selling you this fantasy, and society hates this fantasy because when this fantasy is manifested in its worst way, it comes out in really bad ways. Catholic Church, most religions, right? But the problem is that this fantasy is there. So what do you do with it? Well, she's playing into it beautifully and she's using it and exploiting it in that way. I'm not judging her for doing it. My job is not to judge her or to judge you for whatever you're doing. I really don't care what you do. My job though is to give you some knowledge and equip you to being able to go above that so you can master your energy and transmute it into, whatever you want. So here's the deal. She plays into it beautifully. She's really playing into a dark side of sexuality, and she's using that to gain money. And because guys, you're thirsty and you're jerking off every day to her, you're eventually going to spend your money and your time and your energy there. And while she gets rich, you get depleted and you don't even get any real action because you don't have the sexual drive to go get a real woman and play out the real fantasy. Just saying, it's probably the most non-religious thing I'll say. Okay, so how do you beat her trap? Well, first thing, you have to learn to see her in a new light. So I'm gonna show you how to see through the fantasy that she's offering. And that way you have a choice. You either play into the fantasy and have fun, or you transcend the fantasy and you see beyond it. I do want to share with you that I do have a webinar coming up. So if you're interested in becoming a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom, learning to master your sexual energy, learning how to interact with sex energy all throughout your day in a very conscious, masterful way, then you definitely want to come to this webinar. So check the links below. You can register there. It's a free webinar to check out the lifestyle of a sexual alchemist. All right. What you want to do is look beyond the fantasy. So you could play into the fantasy and have fun at it. I have too. There you go. No shame, no guilt, no fear. Get over it. Done. Now, look at her as a human being. She's a 21-year-old girl. She's a great marketer. She has tremendous amounts of intelligence and she's been given tremendous amounts of beauty. Now, beauty can be looked at as in a sexual way, but look at the beauty of her skill set. I don't know if she designed those sets or came up with the whole idea, but there's a genius to what she's doing. Now, I'm not here to judge that genius moralistically. I'll leave that up to you. I'm just telling you that there's a quality of genius within this girl, and she's playing it and she's using it. She's also been given such beauty, which means she must have a good energy, a good vibe. She must have done some good karma in her life to be able to be born into such an atmosphere, that atmosphere being her body. So there's intelligence there, there's beauty there. Now, I've got her up on my screen and I've got a picture of her as Belle Delphine, but I've also got a picture of her without the makeup. She's a really beautiful girl. Like, she looks really sweet. And of course, she plays into that sweetness on the dark side of it. But when you look at her as just a human being, you can see that she's a young girl and she's got some skills and some qualities, not just sexually, but that are really beautiful about her, and they're emanating from her and she's using it. And then once you see that, here's how you totally transcend her trap, is then you begin to look at her now as no longer a sex symbol. She's that in one hand, but in another hand, you start to see her as a soul. Oh, she's a human like me, and she's got probably hopes and dreams, and she's got family, I'm sure, or friends. You know, she's got obviously desires. That's why she's doing what she's doing. She's building something. She's done an incredible job branding herself. And at the same time, she's a soul, and she's connected to God like everybody else is connected to God. And as soon as you see her in that light, you go limp dick. Why? Because you recognize who she is at the most core level. And for that, you have to know who you are at your core level. And therefore, you can see the entire spectrum. You can see the fantasy. You can choose to play in it. You can then see the human side of her, and you can look, acknowledge that, and right away, the sex energy is diminished there. Right away, you see her more at a heart level, like, hey, I could probably learn some things from this girl, or, I mean, she's 21 years old, she's had tremendous experience, she's got fame, she's got money, she's living an experience that's quite unique on the planet. I bet you there's some wisdom to be gained. And look at her even beyond that, she's a soul. You know, maybe she could be a friend. All right, she could be somebody that's just like you. And my guess is she's just like you. She just has certain qualities that she's using. Once you see that, that's it. Her trap is gone. When you really see it, not just like, oh, I get what you're saying, but when you see it, you can move right out of that energy. And as a sexual alchemist, what we do is we move in and out. I'm not a pure soul. I'm not a monk. So yes, I indulge in the fantasy sometime, but I definitely retain my semen. And by having that kind of awareness, you can easily move yourself in and out of the fantasy as needed. This gives you complete control and mastery. And instead of chasing Belle Delphine, you can actually put it towards your partner. You can put it towards real life situations. And you can transmute that energy into your goals, into your dreams, into helping others. That's exactly what I'm going to be teaching in the webinar coming up. So go to the description, click the link below, stop jerking off to Belle Delphine, come train with me, learn how to hold your semen, learn how to master your energy, and create an awesome lifestyle, just like Belle, but do it in your way. I'll see you in the next video.